Looks like it's, like I said, no camera, it's streaming this.
Yeah,
And you
it's right here. And over here. So yeah, I'm good. I'm Sue Lightfoot Horn. I'm from Livingston County Library, and I have two staff here that I told not to be here, and here they are anyway. I feel like a high school student, and my instructor is right there. So this is basic understanding as to the care and feeding of Missouri Evergreen, what you should be doing on a everyday, week, month, and year basis. So welcome to my TED Talk. I am a conversationalist, so you are more than welcome to shout out questions in the middle of my program. It'll probably help my nerves a little bit. So short bio about me. I sat at the table when Missouri Evergreen was just a thought in 2012. So I kind of bleed green. I've been on the executive board, been a former chair, treasurer, and now a executive board member. Most of my presentation is going to be from the perspective of a rural public library in North Central Missouri. We have one branch location, that's our Lily and Damaris Youth Library with serving youth ages 0 to 17 with extensive outreach programs, and also my previous 13 years of experience in a municipal library setting. So I do hope you find a little details in my talk today that will benefit you. We're going to start with the mission statement. Most library directors understand the Missouri Evergreen mission statement. And this is for the library staff in the room who might not know what our mission statement is. Member libraries share a cloud hosted integrated library system, ILS, called Evergreen, which is an open source software allowed and supporting our practical resources sharing, and it allows patrons from your library to place holds and get things through the courier service from another member library. The Missouri State Library uses LSTA funding with a funding via a contract with Equinox Open Library Initiative, a nonprofit organization to provide the technical support for this system. Understand this is more than a cheap ILS. This is a resource sharing nonprofit organization called Missouri Evergreen using the Evergreen ILS automation system. Equinox, Galen, Dale's not in the room, okay, is our vendor that manages the technical side of Evergreen and offers support, software development, and answers our help service tickets. Why should you care about member fees? And why, who are these people that you're paying them to? Because annually invoices sent to every library member in September based on the member library's income as noted on the most current PLS, Public Library Survey. This base membership is $850 annually. And there's other stipulations that go along with that formula. Depends on population size. There is percentage of the pays will be reserved for development funds. New libraries will pay a prorated amount based on their go live date. Missouri Evergreen will maintain a reserve fund for at least up to 50% of the previous year's operating budget. These are all just things that maybe you don't even know about, maybe you're not even concerned about, but sometimes having that knowledge is helpful, especially when you're trying to explain things to a patron and understand what your role is in supporting that Missouri Evergreen in your position. Those fees are paid to Amigos. They are our official agent for Missouri Evergreen, MAC. They in turn, they pay Equinox for hosting and technical support of our automation system. Synthetics and archives. There's formulas based on circulation stats. Those are, it's the total versus the circulation stats as reported on the public library survey. And those synthetics are the online catalog enhancements. Archive is for our authority control. Member libraries should budget for annual increases of fees according to your library's fiscal year and expect those increases because we have built into the formula at least a 2% increase every year as it stands right now. Okay. The public library survey. Whoop. Uh-oh. Did I not go? Yep, sorry. Once again, little nerves because of the teachers in the room. Synthetic smart cut. Okay, then I was done with that one. I was really good. If you were part of Missouri Evergreen's first user conference, you might have seen this slide in the presentation I did with Shannon Midget from Poplar Bluff Library. This is also relevant today as I speak to the care and feeding of Missouri Evergreen. So we've covered number one. We understand what open resource sharing with member libraries is and what it's all about. On to number two. Oops. Vetted, experienced library professionals have developed guidelines and best practices for circulation staff. Know which libraries have reciprocal borrowing agreements. Most are because they are neighboring libraries. Some have financial considerations that are involved. We also know that we have MALA. Maybe some of you attended the session this morning with Jane and understand that not every member library has the same amount of courier days as your own. Variables include size of library population, the state library subsidies, the courier load, past and estimated statistics. There's a reason why we have cataloging trainings and certification levels for our benefit. However, what's the most important is the patron's benefit. As a person who dreads statistical reports, I don't see Tony in the room because, yeah, Tony's not here, which is great. Tony is our reports committee chair. I understand the need and the function to track development and growth. And yes, I totally understand that reports feature is still a little clunky. I'm never going to say that until it actually gets to a level where, you know, basic users can understand it and perform the functions that it needs. But Missouri Evergreen Consortium is only good as our members. Communications are key to our success. Having pertinent staff sign up and check the listservs, becoming involved in executive boards, committees, meetings, trainings, all leads to our continued success. Every library administrator and every library staff should have the website moevergreenlibraries.org bookmarked on their device. Their desktop, their laptop, their tablet, their phone. They should have that bookmarked because that is your source for information. Missouri Evergreen circulation policies and best practices. You'll see, I'm going to put my PowerPoint out there on the listservs. So you'll know that all these are live tags or links to those things that are highlighted. You have to know where to get your training materials, and that is the Missouri Library, Mo Library or Missouri. Whew, teacher still in the room. moevergreenlibraries.org. This is where the annual users conference trainings and quarterly report trainings come into benefit circulations. I included the update for the close date editors in the local administration. Some of you might not have that permission, but you need to make sure that you have those close date editors on an annual basis because they determine your fines, your other variables as well. Sorry, it's like escaping me, but I update that every December whenever I determine the next year's holidays for the library staff, and also making sure that all of those here, and also with Mala too, when you are updating those annual reports for them. Have 1 or 2 dedicated staff attend the monthly CERC committee Zooms for updates and other pertinent information. They could share it with other staff members. That's how we do it at Livingston County. I suggest that model for anybody else. So therefore you have somebody that is actually attending those Zooms and relaying the information that has been imparted. Delegate this to a trusted library staff member as a director if you don't have the time. Actually, it's a part of the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. Your library director, your library board, and Missouri Evergreen agreed upon this when you initially joined the consortium. Member libraries are to attend at least 4 circulation monthly meetings annually to retain your library's good standing. Rhonda will be so happy that I said those words for her. You can watch the recordings on the YouTube channel. You can report to the CERC committee chair that you have watched them. And there is this highlight right here is the actual link to the last CERC committee on the YouTube. Sure. Yeah.
If you don't have anybody going, you're really missing out for your library.
Yes.
And there's some hot issues right now that we need to hear from everybody, because we're gonna vote and that's it. And you're gonna say next month, I didn't know anything about that. Why are they doing that?
Good point. Thank you
And
for
it's
that.
too late, right?
Right. So they do cover that, and you know, they set the time, but they also post that to our YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch it at your convenience or during your time frame, and just report back that you've watched it, and that'll count as attendance, if you will. Megan, where'd she go? Oh, she stepped out. Well, I'm glad I went ahead. Well, because I know Megan and Shannon, of course, they had tornadoes touch down in their library districts over the weekend, or last Friday, excuse me. So if needed, use the emergency closing handler, followed by a phone call to the executive director after your emergency has been handled on your end. You have to do the emergency closing handler just for the fact of if you are closed for any reason, for emergencies, this affects your due dates, your patron notices, a whole host of other things that Missouri Evergreen has the ability to help guide you through that disaster on our end of things. Once again, this is secondary. Your top priority will always be your patrons and your staff safety and in your community. So as a secondary thing, contact the executive director saying, hey, this just happened. So
So can I add something real
please
quick?
do.
So in reference to Shannon's disaster, one of the things that happened is Belinda, who worked with Shannon, contacted me and said, is there a way we can contact all of our patrons that use this building and send a mass text to them to say, you can't pick up your holds and this building is closed until further notice and all of that. And I worked real hard with Message B, and I talked with Rogan a little bit, and we were able to do that. We were able, actually, Belinda created a list that had the patron's name and the phone number, and did all the filtering. And then I sent the message to Message B, and then they made a custom message that went out only to those people. Now, in such situation, you don't want to do this because Miss Sally is sick on story time day.
Right.
You want to do this when there's a giant hole in your booth or something
Right.
like that, right? And part of the reason that I'm also making that caveat is, Message B charges us per message. So when you're sending something like this, I think this is going to cost Shannon like $20. And it's a really effective way to contact, but you don't want to do this. And I don't want to get, or Evergreen, Missouri Evergreen doesn't want to get into business of constantly billing you these $20 for these specialty text messages, but it's a great way to
Right.
notify your customers.
So,
You also mentioned notices with the emergency, you say that it will push notices as well?
I believe
If
so.
you use the emergency, processing to create a closed day, we're closed for snow, then notices won't go out for the day, if you've done it in time?
If you do it in no time, it will make sure that the unanswered question, don't emit various overdue notices, and so on, because the due date that would have been pushed forward.
But like hold notices would not be effective, they would still go out if it was like the second hold notice or?
It will also push the shelf expiration date, I believe, but it potentially could, still result in various notifications.
Okay.
Also, of course, if you wait too long, I mean, you can do emergency closings retrospectively, but obviously, you can't get to a computer until 5 days after the fact.
Right.
There's not much you can do to take back the notices.
Okay. Speaking of that, we're going into lending and borrowing with MAC members. On a daily or weekly basis, you should clear your hold shelf. So, I think I got this right, Jody. You can correct me if I'm wrong. At Livingston County, our hold shelf gets cleared every 5 to 7 days. Our process is the staff looks at the hold shelf on Wednesday or pick a day of the week, or another consistent day of the week and see the items that need to either be called or contacted, and giving that patron the opportunity, that one last chance, if you will, to say, yeah, I want that, or no, go ahead and send that back, kind of thing. Also, there's all kinds of variables to consider here. If the library's closed due to weather or holiday, knowing the patron behavior. I know a lot of us know our usual suspects that come in the library on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. Knowing that patron behavior, if they have a hold and you know that they actually come in on Thursday, give them that benefit of the doubt. Nobody's going to die. Nobody's bleeding because the hold shelf hasn't been cleared, but just have a procedure and a day to do it, just to check those and clear those. The monthly transits, the long overdues, we do that. Like I said, this is for a county library. We do it on a monthly basis. This is where the communications between member libraries come into play. Sometimes you are checking your shelves for a book that might be lost or long overdue in transit. Maybe it got shelved onto yours. Maybe it got lost in the courier. There's all kinds of different reasons, but this is where you follow up with your member libraries. Phone calls, emails, however you want to do that. But just know that, once again, the variables are there too. Holidays, inclement weather days, emergency closings. Sometimes it's desirable to cancel a transit. Transit should never be canceled without a follow-up action. I think everybody understands that. If nothing happens after you cancel the transit, the item becomes lost in space. Nobody knows where it's at. Nobody knows how to track it. So, I mean, there are some procedures. Once again, the canceling transits and the transit list, those links are there too. Sure, please do.
So with these steps that you just outlined that we're supposed to be doing, obviously, I just want to remind people how important it is to update the executive director or website person, who is Ron, with changes to who your contacts
Good point.
are for
Yes.
circulation or whatever.
Right.
So that we know who we're supposed to contact.
Yep. Good point. Thank you. Absolutely.
With those transit lists, I'm sorry, does a long transit item show up both on the place where it's going and the place where it should have been coming from? Like, do both libraries look for it, or does it just show on like the only libraries?
Well, depends on who notices it first. So I think it shows up on both ends, correct? It shows up on both ends. So if I'm checking my transits on the 15th of the month, but you don't check your transits till the 20th of the month, more than likely my staff will see it first and should be making those rounds to call. But that's the whole thing is kind of like pick a day of the month and say this is, or the first Tuesday of the month, and just pick that and just make that a concentrated effort that you're looking at that list, that you don't have this long, extensive, long overdue, lost in space items on this transit log. So therefore we could track it down. We can either code it as missing, code it at or follow through if it actually is a courier issue rather than a transit issue between libraries.
Question.
Sure.
If you run your list or whatever, are you only, you say once a month, which I understand, but are you doing it for the previous month or are you going a few months back?
I go back.
think they do a buffer.
I go back to when Livingston County Library joined Missouri Evergreen. So that encompasses everything.
Oh, I was thinking the other way. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just pick a date way back.
Yeah,
But like
so-
for the from, I guess, to the from.
yeah.
I usually
Does that make
do,
sense?
I usually do a 30-day buffer.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm looking at that, I'm not looking at any, at today's 2020. I pick a month earlier than that.
Okay.
From that.
We actually go,
From catching you currently in transit.
It's
and I'm
still-
still in-
Yes.
No, but it's still, just
It's
on
only
the
3
transit
days ago.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, I would sometimes go like 2 months.
yeah, I think our
I was curious what other.
I believe our CERT committee did kind of have a discussion where it's kind of like a guideline.
Right, yeah.
somewhere around, 4 to 8 weeks.
Right.
something like that.
60 to 78 days is kind of the go-to part. Anything that's showing up outside of that perimeter, I'm asking the staff to call and find it on ourselves, call the member library. If it's our patron, we're definitely going to call. If it's an item, we're going to call, so yeah, my whole point here is pick a day. Pick a day and make that happen. Lending and borrowing on annual basis. We have, I know we have our best practices, we've got policies, we've got all these different things that everybody needs to be aware of. So I'm putting this on my annual list to kind of review with my staff. Do it as you would like, but especially when you've got new staff hired, a little refresher for, all your staff would be good too. Of course, if you've got dedicated staff looking for lost transits or damaged, delayed materials, I think this is back to the conversation of mine or yours kind of thing. Like I said, just pick a day. Delegate. I love the word delegate. It takes a lot of when you delegate, that means that you're trusting your staff because you have trained them and they can perform their job better. So delegate to library staff. They'll track down these materials and the steps easily outlined on the Mo Evergreen libraries.org website. Okay. This is going to be funny. I will die on this anthill. Daily procedures for pest infestations. If your library staff is not looking at every book that either from a drop box, from a patron's hand, in the courier, if you are not looking for critters, nasty crawly critters, I urge you to start a practice doing that. Just this week, staff member's office got inundated with ants. Yeah. So, yeah. It's just one of those things. I know there's been several of us that have to have frequent treatments for pests and cockroaches, bed bugs, whatever. I don't want to go down that road, but there are policies, there's procedures, and you need to have that in place because it can shut down your library. Correct, Mary Beth?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so if you don't have that, you really, I can't stress that enough. We did just update our policy and our procedures for pests. I'll be more than happy to share with anybody, but there is no reason why we shouldn't be checking those materials because this is something that we all need to be concerned about because it can impact your library for sure. And I will die on that hill. I will. What is reciprocal borrowing? Ooh, we've had lots of discussions on the executive board about what is reciprocal borrowing. That is, there's differences in similarities between resource sharing, reciprocal borrowing, and contracted arrangements. I urge you to know. I should actually name this slide, Know Your Neighbor. Know if you've got a reciprocal borrowing agreement with your neighbor or another neighbor that has another agreement with another neighbor on the other side. Just know that those exist. Those are outside the purview. Those are contractual relationships between member libraries. The executive board of Missouri Evergreen Consortium doesn't have any say on those. A lot of this have already been, if you will, grandfathered in, but those are on our website as well. A lot of them are finding and non-finding libraries and accommodations. I mean, you just need to know your neighbor. That's what you need to know. And the reason why I'm stressing that is because untrained staff can cause some havoc if they don't know that this county library doesn't have a reciprocal borrowing agreement, but this one does. And it can really cause havoc and a lot of patron confusion. And that's the reason why patron education is good, but also staff education is better in this regards. Camden County, Carrollton, Caruthersville, Grundy County, Jefferson County, Lebanon and Laclede, Little Dixie, Marion County, Marshall Public, Neosho Newton, Poplar Bluff, Ray County, and Trails. They all have reciprocal borrowing agreements of some nature.
Left off Cape and Riverside.
They're not on the website.
Is that CD?
So we'll make sure that Ron knows. Okay. So what was that? Cape and?
It's scenic.
So this is a great opportunity for you to contact Ron, our webmaster, for updates. This is a great opportunity for you to just say, hey, we need to, you don't have to, and seriously, this is just a laundry list of libraries that have reciprocal borrowing. We don't need to know the nature. We just need to know that you've got reciprocal borrowing arrangements. And yeah. Yeah.
But from what I understood is the people that were on the list had signed the Missouri Evergreen reciprocal borrowing agreement, which is separate than if you had individual ones between your two libraries.
Yes.
Which I think is why we're not on the,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay.
I think we have reciprocal borrowing agreements with neighboring counties, but not for the whole consortium.
Okay. So maybe we need to define that a little bit
Yeah,
better.
because my understanding it's, yeah, Rhonda's not here. There's no one from Cass County here, right?
Correct.
Yeah, because I'm actually a Cass County patron. And so my understanding is that Cass County, I mean, I can use my Missouri Evergreen, Cass County card anywhere else that was on Sue's list.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works.
Different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So that's probably why we're not on the list.
Okay. Yeah, Patrick.
So, we had reciprocal agreement.
Yes.
With the regional county. What we're doing now is anyone who, and please let me know if this is annoying to all of you. Anyone who comes in with a card that the system will read, you know, we're giving you privileges to borrow.
Same as Trails.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what Trails does.
Yeah.
Any,
Yeah.
okay.
No.
Yeah.
We can let Ron.
Then on their terms or your terms, you know, it's like,
We allow them to check out 3 DVDs, and they allow 2.
We're not going down that road. I'm just gonna stop you. I'm just gonna stop you.
I think
Yeah.
that's part of what the list is about. The people who are on that list have come to an agreement
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah,
They've worked all that out.
they've worked that all out. Yeah.
Can I just ask a real
sure.
baseline question? How is this supposed to work? So Lebanon was on your list of reciprocal.
Mhm.
So I'm in Pulaski County right next to them. So I can take my Pulaski County card to Lebanon and use it there.
As
right?
far as I understand.
But Pulaski County is not on that list. So a Lebanon patron cannot come to Pulaski County, and if we scan their card, it should not allow us to check anything out on their account, right?
This is a conversation where we were gonna avoid. Yeah, because I know there has been, I know Jeff, when he was with Riverside, he was really, really talking and discussing, and we actually had a committee just about reciprocal borrowing. So I would love to say yes, that is correct. Your understanding is correct, but I can't consciously tell you that. So,
I know that, I'm going to tell my staff.
yes.
It don't hurt, but don't do it.
That is a rabbit hole that we're not gonna go down. Okay, but yes, I understand your question and I understand the concept of it, and in reality, it should work like that. And that's-
Can of worms, but it would be great if everybody could use everybody's collection. But
Right.
that's gonna take a lot of understanding. in order to make something like that happen. I think it'd be a great goal.
It would be a great goal, and I think that we have too many other projects in the hopper that are more important than this, because these have already been established within these libraries, so. Okay.
Okay, sorry, I can't stand. So, one question, reciprocal borrowing existed before we were part of the consortium.
Yes, exactly.
So, we already have, who's not part of the Evergreen.
Yep.
And the way it works though is unusual because you have to, bring your other county card to our library. We call the other library to make sure you're in good standing.
Yep.
And then you get our
A
card.
new card.
Yep.
You get an NSDL card, which is part of Missouri Evergreen, which they can use Missouri Evergreen because they're using them. Do you see what I'm saying?
I totally understand. I totally track. Yep.
Now, I look at
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
But I.
Like auctioneer. Yep. Yep. Okay, so I'm, because I have a lot more that we still need to cover. So I hear you. I do. I hear you, and I do know it is, I think you need to revert back to your home library policies. That's where you're gonna find your answers. Okay. All right. Mala, courier service. I know Jane probably already did a lot of this stuff, but I'm gonna go quickly through it. Annually, you need to complete the survey. She needs to have the survey completed, so therefore she can have those patron impact statements, because those things are the things that kind of garner some attention when the people that are reading her grant application, and it makes a difference. And of course, your Get Connected Courier Agreement by June for it to start in July for the next fiscal year for Mala. And once again, I'm like I said, I'm going to go pretty quickly through this part. Well, so I thought monthly, we should be completing statistical reports to Mala by the 10th of the month. I think she needs them by the 15th for sure, but I gave her a little leeway there, or the 1st. Oh, it's the 5th. Okay. Oops, sorry. But you should also be checking supplies for more or less courier bags, totes, etc. Orders needed, send back what you have extra. Just kind of do that on a monthly basis. Daily, report damages to library materials immediately, report inclement weather and emergency closings, record no courier stops and consistently late shipments. So those are just things that Mala, that I'm sure Jane covered in her presentation this morning, but those are just part of, you know, what the CareandFeeding Missouri Evergreen, because the courier is a vital part of resource sharing. I'll die on that hill too. Okay, cataloging, requirement of membership. It was designed to prepare any staff members to successfully complete cataloging at 2 different levels, basic and advanced. You have to be in compliance with Missouri Evergreen cataloging policy, and at least 1 staff member at each member library needs to be trained at the advanced level. Cataloging certification is required every 2 years. Contact Liz if you don't know where you're at on that schedule. You know, those initial cataloging certifications is required for newly hired catalogers at any time. Whenever you hire a new cataloger, they need to be certified. It's also required for each cataloger in a newly migrated library. The cataloger has 6 months after entering the cataloging environment to complete the certification. So once again, Liz has all the knowledge, all the things about cataloging. Your part as library director and staff is to know the policies and the best practices. Annually review of them, cataloging training manual, and of course, attend our users conference quarterly, attend regional trainings, because those are held throughout the state on a quarterly basis. Monthly Zoom meetings. Once again, same thing with circulation. You are mandated to attend at least 4 sessions on an annual basis. There's a link for the latest cataloging committee session on the YouTube channel. Daily, we need to check the CAT listserv for the chatter. Resolve issues as reported by email, listserv, by cataloging committee, consortium cataloger, member libraries, and or executive board. Oh, and Ron will be so happy because I said, if you see a merge, do a merge, right? Don't let somebody else do it. You can do it too. Statistics, annual reports for your library board. Missouri Evergreen Consortium for our annual survey. Those are very important to us for our grant application as we go forward. And of course, our annual report. There is a link to the 23-24 annual report that Steve developed for us, which kind of lists everything, all the great things that we've done. And of course, your mallet contract and your survey, your state library reports, your equalization funds, your A&E funds, and your PLS. Am I on time? Still good? All right, monthly reports for your library board, circulation reports, catalog reports, reading reports. Once again, this is how we do it at Livingston County. If you need to do it more often or less often, you decide that. But my point here is procedures and letting your staff know what's expected as you go forward. Weekly or daily or weekly, you run your cash receipts, balance with deposits. Okay, seriously, I don't do that. Actually, my bookkeeper takes care of that, but that's better for the separation of duties for our auditors. That's the beauty of delegation. Have your trusted staff members perform these functions daily or weekly. Most of this is how your board wants it done. Might be how you've done it previously from an old ILS, or maybe you revamp some things when you join Missouri Evergreen. Just once again, it's the procedural part of this that is the most important. Okay. He doesn't want to let me go. There it goes. Involvement. We need you. This is pretty much straight from the slide that Shannon and I that we discussed at the first user conference. Currently, we have 9 board positions. We are looking to make a change, and increasing that, very soon. It is a hierarchical, board. So if you are in a officer's position, then you start as secretary, then you move up, to vice, and then you move up to president and then former chairs. And so, I mean, it's all listed, within our bylaws. Do you know where our bylaws are at? Come on, somebody tell me, where's our bylaws? Where can you find our bylaws? There you go. Our personnel, our executive director, the consortium cataloger, and our immigration specialist, which is, well, it's actually, well, is that still her term?
Yeah.
It's still, okay.
Yeah.
But she's also the chair of the Consortium Assistant Network. And that's Mary Kay.
Staff support, Leanne's actually the chair.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Anyway, so committees, circulation, catalog reports. And of course, we have our ad hoc and our special committees as designed, by, the board. We need committee members. It's one thing to attend the monthly Zoom, but we need committee members to help, write policies and to write the best practices. So that's why I'm saying we need you. We need you to be involved. We need for you to be involved in the general membership meetings. They are bi-monthly on even number of months, and of course in our special meetings. We're only as good as our weakest link. We are only as productive, and we can only see growth if we have all of our members use their voice, bring forward their suggestions and their thoughts to make us a better consortium. One of the ways you can do that, we're almost done. Oh, okay, great. Discussion list. These are the ones that we have, and these are the ones that, we love the kitty pictures and the dog pictures, but I know that, I understand Steve's point when, if you've got a high resolution graphic or picture, that it might need some approvals from the administration of those lists, and those all kind of fall to him. So just know, but these are the way to communicate. These are the way every day, all day questions are always encouraged. Because if you've got an issue or a question, I can guarantee you somebody else in our consortium has that same issue or something very similar or the same question. Absolutely. Growth and sustainability. We need to attend our trainings. We have regional trainings, monthly committee Zooms, and our YouTube channel resources. Remember website member resources. I keep preaching that today. Volunteer. If you know of a neighboring library that has expressed interest in Missouri Evergreen, and they've gone through the proper channels and they have applied, and the MOU has been accepted by the executive board, just know that we've got a lot more libraries out there that we can welcome into Missouri Evergreen as well. We want you to share your thoughts and ideas because we are member owned and member driven. Thanks for all you do, Steve Potter. All right, questions? Great.
It just said cataloging reports. I was wondering, what are some cataloging reports that your people run regularly to make sure the collection's staying tidy?
Greta.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Judy.
I don't run television.
Weeding reports.
Weeding.
Weeding reports.
Okay, yeah, that's not where my mind went with that.
As a director, I do items added, items deleted from the catalog as for my annual report to the board. Our collection development, the size, those are things that you also need to have those reports for the PLS and for other annual reports as well.
And
So that, huh?
number of bid records.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I was going with that. Yeah. They failed me.
Sorry, she got the annual.
I do.
The runs when we need to read and things like that.
Well, I know that I have one of our staff members that, well, actually two, that they run reports about cataloging and bibs that are, something wrong with bibs, if they're like, the field is not correct or some, those,
They have a report that?
I think so, I might be.
Is that the 20th of the month?
Yes.
Yes, that's, yes.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes.
Sorry, I thought there was like maybe a.
What do I? Sorry.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah, it sounds like it reconnected, but.
Okay. So sorry. Woo, well, there's always that. Let me get back to you on that one. So, okay. All right, what else? Like I said, it was more procedural from my point about what you should be doing. And I know it was a lot of things that we already know. And hopefully you did glean a little bit of information. If you want the pest infestation policy, I'll be more than happy to share that with you, along with our procedures with that as well. It does come with great pictures. Ooh. Anyway, but yeah, yep. Hey, Scott.
Find these slides.
Listserv, or, well, we recorded this up to the point of the cataloging question.
So all the sessions are being archived and will be available via the YouTube channel. But I'm also trying to collect all the PowerPoints and I'll make those available.
Right.
On the
Here's
OU
the
site.
things.
Yeah.
And I know they're all on the website.
Yeah,
But.
but they're all about cataloging.
No,
They're all
no,
about
my goal
circulating.
is
Yeah.
to get, to
Yeah.
collect those up and then make them available on the OU site as we archive.
Yeah. But I will send it to you directly if you want.
I'll wait till we get to it. I just want to make sure we got it. I want to share it with my board members.
Right.
So,
I already stole your PowerPoint. It's on my laptop, so.
Well, there's that. Okay. So thank you all. How'd I do, teacher? Okay. Little break? What? Hold on. Wait. If anybody would like to have more of the little notebooks, you're more than welcome to retrieve those because we don't want to take them home with us. They were at the registration desk, so please take them home. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was.